everybody. It is 5:22 p.m. and it is March 14th, 2022, and you are at a special Common Council of the City of Wausau meeting. Welcome. The first item on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't know why I'm delayed here. All right, next up, roll call. I don't see anybody via WebEx, but
Peckham. Martins.
Here.
Killian.
Here.
Neal. Wadinsky.
Here.
McElhaney. Rasmussen. Watson.
here.
Herbst.
Here.
Larson.
Here.
Ryan.
Here.
We have 8 members present.
All right, thank you. Next item on our agenda is public comment. So pre-registered citizens for matters appearing on the agenda. We have one, Bruce Grau.
I hope you all have snow blowers. That snow is terribly heavy. So in the Poor People's Campaign, we agree with the vast majority of people that we have a right to clean and safe water provided to us by our city government. We back this up with our hard-earned money when we pay taxes and our water bills. We assume then that clean, safe water will be supplied to all of us without any further action on our end. That's the agreement. We don't have to ask for it. It comes every time we turn on the faucet. We have now been faced with a situation that's becoming too common, already experienced in over 50 Wisconsin communities alone. Our water supply has been contaminated with harmful forever chemicals to a level that the DHS has recommended everyone decrease their daily intake of, particularly those most vulnerable, children, babies, and unborn children. And please stop misleading the public. The water is not safe. The city has finally agreed to provide safe water and filtering systems, again, to be paid for from our tax dollars. But it comes with stipulations. We have to ask for it, and only one entity in the city will act as the distributor of it. A distributor that operates limited hours a week, has one delivery truck, and is staffed by volunteers. Now really, is that the best that our money can buy? We truly appreciate the Herculean task that the Neighbors Place has compassionately assumed. But take this city administration to task that it is not keeping up its end of the agreement by taking such a half measure in assuring we all have safe, clean water. Almost 20,000 Wausonians alone live at or below the Alice poverty threshold for poverty. Disproportionate disability and medical conditions affect people who live in poverty. Getting through a day can be a struggle for them. Is your plan capable of meeting such demands? Or are you calculating people will not call and continue to consume this tainted water without constraint? Surely not. Stop going through the motions and establish a comprehensive, aggressive approach to identify those most at risk and make contact with them to at least get a baseline understanding of the scope of the need. Send out a citywide survey with stamped envelopes. Engage with places of worship, family care, Health First, Catholic and Lutheran charities, ADRC, United Way, etc., agencies in daily contact with vulnerable Wausonians. Then lead a citywide coordinated response to hold up your end of our agreement, particularly for those most challenged by the demands of a day. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on our agenda. It looks like we have our friends via WebEx. Oh. What are we hearing?
Okay, thank you.
Oh.
Is there any other business before the board?
That's
Alder
I
Peckham.
make a motion to
We're hearing.
adjourn.
All right, we've muted you. Thank you.
we're hearing the ethics board.
Okay. All right, welcome to Alder Neal and Alder Peckham. Welcome Alder Neal and Alder Peckham. We see you via WebEx. Thank you for sticking with us. You did just miss the public comment. We had one person. So we are noting your appearances here. All right, the next item on our agenda is where I ask you to suspend the Rule 12A, referral of resolutions. This does require a 2/3 vote majority. I would entertain a motion. A motion by Watson and a second by Wadinsky. The clerk will call the roll.
McElhaney.
Aye.
Wadinsky.
Aye.
Neal.
Aye.
Killian.
Aye.
Martins.
Aye.
Peckham.
Just saw his mouth say aye, but one moment.
Peckham.
Aye.
Ryan.
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Herbst. Watson.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
All right, thank you. Next up, we have file number 220306. This is the resolution authorizing the non-competitive procurement process for the PFAS removal pilot study and alternate temporary drinking water supply, establishing the coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds, eligible use, and establishing the related budget. I'm wondering, Marianne, do you want to just give us a little brief on what we're doing here and why we need to do this?
Sure. So for the budget part, you did actually do a budget at the last meeting, but there was no numbers. There wasn't an actual budget line item provided in the resolution. And since this was coming before you today, we thought we would just cross some T's and dot some I's. So that the information, was fully disclosed. So that is the budget portion. You're not doing anything that you didn't really already accomplish. We're just articulating it fully.
Okay.
As far as, when we're looking at doing this work, obviously, similar to the city of Wausau, the federal government has procurement regulations as they pertain to the spending of federal dollars, whether it be the federal government or subrecipients or recipients like the city of Wausau. And so, as we looked at this, we wanted to make sure that we did a good job of providing our process of how we went through the procurement of these services. And as the resolution indicates, the federal government acknowledges that there's times that you cannot actually go through a full competitive process. And those situations are where you're faced in an emergency or response demands that you act in such a way that you need to complete that purchase in a very timely manner. In the last resolution, you authorized hiring Donahue, and you authorized that with, I thought, a good rational decision. They had been the engineer of record for the facility. They studied our water when they were developing the plans for the plant. And we realized that we needed to start that pilot study sooner than later. We also discussed during that meeting the supply chain problems of putting that pilot study in place because piping was needed and storage tanks were needed. And we were, trying to work to get supplies of those products. So this resolution really is just specifying that you consider this an emergency. And so you're setting aside that competitive process because of that. And again, it's really just to document the thought process and the logic that you went through in making that decision for the resolution before, because, because ARPA money is federal money and it's a lot of money, we want to make sure that we are have as strong of documentation as possible in our files. And so that's really what we're doing today, is just strengthening our documentation of the process that we went through. Certainly, we're going through on the water supply, the temporary water supply, to look for the lowest price and the best product. But again, we want to make sure that you have recognized that it's an emergency. And so, if we do a purchase. We might have to purchase from multiple suppliers just to get the quantities of product that we need. So we're just, you're basically making that declaration that this is an emergency situation and we'll do what we need to get water that is PFAS safe and filters that remove PFAS in as short order as possible. And we're, acknowledging our purchasing behavior as a result of that.
Maybe before we have any discussion, I would entertain a motion in a second to make sure we're, I have a motion by Larson and a second by Killian. Any questions or comments? Alder McElhaney.
Thank you. I just wanted, I know I'm reading the whereases, and I just want, because I've had some people reach out to me about this after the last meeting, that, whereas staff have secure quotes for bottled water and countertop filtration, and selection will be determined based on product filtering and certification specifications, product availability, price, and delivery schedules, with the urgent need and demand of residents as the key decision driver. I just want it to be assured that we are looking at DHS certifications on filters and not some certification from manufacturers. I think that we have to be very clear as a city, if we're putting dollars in this, that we are following the DHS guidelines. And that's just my comment. I hope that we continue to do that. Thank you.
Yeah, I might ask the utility director. I know that we looked at the site that was linked on DHS for the products, but maybe if you just want to give us a little brief. Thank you.
Yeah, good evening. So the filters that we are looking at are certified through NSF, but they've also been tested to show removal of PFOA and PFOS. So.
Okay. Alder Ryan, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I had thought Supervisor Robinson had mentioned about the emergency management staff, and I guess I consider this as, a similar disaster as maybe what was had in New Orleans years ago, except it's strictly water related. So are we going through the regular protocol of through the county of asking for a disaster designation and then getting those resources and informing the governor and asking for federal assistance in regard to water?
So at this point, we have asked the emergency management at both the county and the state level to see if they could help us procure certain items. I've also spoken with the mayor about requesting direct funds from the state for reimbursement for the pilot study, additional studies that we're doing. It is important to keep in mind that there are no PFAS removal drinking water treatment systems in Wisconsin. There are none. And so right now, Wausau is at the forefront of this. If the path that we're on, we will be the first PFAS drinking water treatment system in Wisconsin. And so I think the DNR is also recognizing that as well. So they want adequate studies done. They want as soon as possible. And so I think we're pursuing every avenue, Deb, that we can at this point. So appreciate the question.
Thank you. Alder Watson.
And I'm not sure if this is relevant to the resolution, but I know distribution is in the neighbor's place. Do you know if there'll be distribution on the west side too, just for those west side residents?
I can tell you, I got a list of 20 other agencies that the United Way has helped us make contact with when it comes to this water. So I know, for instance, the Hmong American Center, that's not on the west side, but the women's community, there's some others, Catholic Charities, they have also picked up some water, and Health First, I think, is one of them on that side too.
And so that list will be published on the website or somewhere, so?
If they pick up water, 211 will have that information, but I can see if that's something we'll publish.
Okay.
Yep, thank you. Alder Larson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Is there a list available of the filters that the city is going to purchase? The countertop filters that's available for the public to look at right now? And second of all, have you looked at the possibility also of getting that temporary filtration system to hook up to the water plant until the water plant is capable of filtering out the PFAS?
Yeah, they're still looking into that because the material shortages, and they're trying to crash that schedule on what it would take to put that in this is the large treatment. Yeah, and so they're still pursuing that. They're working with emergency management and stuff on that as well. But so far, we haven't found any way to crash that schedule.
And to my first question,
Yeah, we have the 2 filters that we're proposing to buy right now. I can put those online. And once we get one of them, we have costs. We're waiting on determining how many we can get immediately. And then the second one, we're waiting on their final costs.
and
They
this will
have
be on
some-
the city webpage then?
I can put that on. Yep,
Thank you.
Be on by tomorrow morning.
Thank you. Other questions? Alder Killian.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and we had communicated a little bit about a couple items like potential requirements or criteria for residents who wanted to take advantage of picking up water, having a filter at home. Will that be then available to every water utility customer that desires one of those items or both? Or is there any other criteria or requirement involved?
No.
Okay, that's excellent. Thank you.
Thanks. Alder Ryan.
Thank you, Mayor. I understand that some agencies may be able to do this on a very small scale, but when we're looking at the whole city, I think we have to look at it from a different point of view. And I do think that maybe we need to be looking at semi-loads of water that are located throughout the city, maybe in the parking lots of some other food markets, and then staffed by regular staff that the city contracts with, so that they're available, not necessarily on a, 8 to 5 basis, but in evenings or on the weekends, that these smaller agencies may be able to do somewhat of helping a number of families, but I really think we're talking about semi-loads of water that we need to be thinking about, and that maybe no other group can really take that on, and so we should make those plans. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Alder Killian.
Thank you. And yeah, on the distribution topic, is that something we could discuss as a body in the near future? I know that there's some concerns from senior citizens on the southwest side that I received some input from this weekend about being able to pick up the water or to have really a viable way of doing that both geographically and physically, just due to kind of the difficulty, as Mr. Force mentioned in the meeting, of even getting that into a vehicle or something.
I mean, I suppose we could agendize the distribution, if that's what we want.
That would be
I'm
great
seeing
in the
nodding from the
future.
council president, so.
That would be positive, I think.
I think one of the things, if you do get comments from your residents, if you would send those directly immediately rather than waiting for a meeting. I mean, if there's anything that we can do or change on the distribution side, we can try to make those adjustments as soon as possible. So, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Alder Larson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. One other question I have, and that is, when these filtration systems are available in the city here, how is the city going to alert the public that they're available and where to pick them up?
We'll make an announcement we'll do it probably ahead of time when we expect the deliveries, and then we'll show the locations on where
And
people
you'll make
can
an
pick those up.
announcement how?
Through our normal channels, through press releases, social media, we'll post it on the website, typically on how we notify the public.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Alder Herbst.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Being part of the Water Commission, I'm going to tell you right now, I'd be more than happy to volunteer to be wherever I needed to help distribute the water or the filters. So, and I might even speak on behalf of the Water Commission. Perhaps I will let them know that they're going to work too.
Thank you, Don. Yeah.
Anyone else? Okay, I think we're ready to vote.
Ryan,
Aye.
Larson,
Aye.
Herbst,
Aye.
Watson,
Aye.
McElhaney, Wadinski,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Killian,
Aye.
Martins,
Aye.
Peckham.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
All right, thank you, everyone. I guess at this point, I would entertain the last item on the agenda, motion to adjourn. Motion by Watson, second by Wadinski. All in favor can signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you.